Nina Emma, and with me is my co-anchor. I'm so happy to have you on the program, David Chiedu. This is really great this morning, and it's a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. This is a very wonderful opportunity. So we're going to be presenting the program Market Insights together from henceforth, and this is really good. So today we are discussing the dynamic trade relationship between Nigeria and China, and it's brimming with potential for mutual economic growth.
And indeed, it does bode well for Nigeria. The prospects therein are enormous. Nigeria, as you know, boasts a youthful, growing population and a huge endowment of natural resources. China, on the other hand, is a manufacturing powerhouse, seeking these resources to power its industries, which essentially makes for a symbiotic relationship.
In addition, as Africa's largest economy and the world's second largest economy, that's Africa's largest economy, that's Nigeria, and the world's largest economy, that's China, these countries have a long history of cooperation. But in recent years, their trade relationship has reached new heights, with bilateral trade volumes soaring to billions of dollars.
And of course, one of the keys to maximizing this inherent growth potential is diversification, seeing as Nigeria has been limited to having crude oil and natural gas as our mainstay, or if you like, a main export, consequently leading to a trade imbalance. Now, there's a need, therefore, to leverage this trade agreement in order to export more processed goods, not just raw materials, by the way, which would help create more jobs and boost our manufacturing sector.
Well, with this kind of thing, there'll definitely be a lot of challenges. But the questions that many have been asking, and these questions is on everybody's mind, is what exactly does this partnership mean for Nigeria's economic growth in practical terms? Can it really address and help our country's infrastructure deficit, diversify its economy, and create jobs for our growing population?
Also, how do we deal with the unequal export volume with China? Now, practically, how can we firm up our manufacturing sector and possibly increase our domestic industries to expedite production and export in order to create a more balanced trade partnership? These are some of the questions.
That's very true, David. And in addition, we'll also explore how Chinese investments in Nigerian infrastructure, technology, and industries can drive economic growth and development.
And also, what are the potential risks and challenges, if any, and its socio-economic impact? Again, more questions deserving answers.
So before we get right into our discussion on Nigeria and China's trade relations, let's talk about the stock market. How was trading activities this week from Monday 1st July to Thursday 4th of July. As you know, we can't talk about Friday yet because trading is still going on the floor of the stock exchange. So on Monday, July 1st, trading activities closed on a negative note. The all-share index declined by 0.04%, settling at over 100,020, which was different from a previous close of last week Friday at 100,057.
And market capitalization closed at 56.581 trillion naira, an aggregate of over 274 million units of shares was traded in about 10,000 plus deals valued at 3.712 trillion. And the market breadth closed negative as 20 equities gained while 28 equities declined in share prices.
So this entire week is very, very unique because there was a mixed trading activities this week. First of all, on Monday, we noticed that it closed on a negative note. On Tuesday, it closed on a positive note. And on Wednesday, it also closed negative like that. And Thursday, it also closed on a negative note. So there's been a mixture of how trading activities fared this week. So we're hoping that maybe it's going to be a mixed reaction at the end of trading this week. We can't really say for certain because trading is still going on at the floor of the exchange right now, but we're hopeful that it might turn up positive at the end of the week. So to discuss the stock market this week, this mixed reaction of positive and negative from Monday to Thursday. I have Mr. Kehinde Olusola Adeaga. He's an economist and he's also going to be analyzing the stock market with us, and also our further discussion on Nigeria's and Nigeria trade relations this morning, Nigeria and China's trade relations this morning. So thank you for joining us on Market Insights, Mr.
It's my
Kehinde
pleasure.
Adeaga.
Welcome, Mr.
Let me quickly just correct something. I'm not an economist.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
communicator.
Okay, you're more of a
So that I
communicator.
don't get out of the studio and people bombard me with some economic issues that may be beyond my capacity. So
Okay.
that
Thank
is
you
just
for
it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for joining us on the program. So first of all, we'll start with how was trading activities at the stock market this week, and this is quite remarkable this week. Having Monday, it was on a negative note. Tuesday, positive. Wednesday. So, what's the reason for these different reactions on this week for each of the days?
Let me start by saying that we should all know that markets is not going to be going up in perpetuity or coming down in perpetuity. What that suggests to a market where you have fluctuation is a balanced market, so to say. And that can only be determined by the demand and the supply chain aspect of it. So when you see the market go up, information may have contributed to why the market is going up or why the market is going down. So what we have experienced or seen in our market is that as a result of the recapitalization that is ongoing now, the possibilities of we experiencing some fluctuation, more of fluctuation in the market is certain. That is the downturn of the market is certain because banks are already flooding the market with their shares, although they may not have come up to say they are doing a rights or public offering, but at least the information is already in the marketplace where expectations are that all the banks will be in the market. And so some are taking advantage of the price stocks of such banks before even they come to the market. For instance, the only one we have seen that has come to the market so far is Fidelity Bank. And so they came up with a rights and a public offering. So we expect more to come. Already by Monday, we should be having another bank come to present the facts behind its figures. And that means that it is a pre-condition or pre-situation where they will be telling the story. And so that whether it's attractive or not, investors will want to see what is there for them. And so that is actually what is affecting the market as we speak. The informations are there and the investors' ears are down, so they know what is happening. And so coupled with the fact that the funds are not readily available, so it's not a time where any investor will just close his or her eyes and waste his or her funds. They must do it judiciously and with some economic sense.
Now, Mr. Kehinde, given the current financial trend or situation in the country, what would you say is the outlook, of the capital market for, investors? What should they be expecting as far as the, trading year is concerned?
We should expect that the markets will experience some downturn because of the recapitalization thing, because naturally prices of those banks will be down as an attraction to the investors. And financial industry is such an area that determines the market more. Because give or take, all the sectors of the market all boils down to finances. Because without you having the money, how do you invest? So everybody in the market also is a sector that is well regulated out of all the sectors in the market. So we should be expecting more of downturn than upswing. Why? Because prices of stock in the financial sector, especially the banking subsector, will be down as against what their prices will be when they come to after their placement or after their offer. Naturally, if you buy low now, expect it to be high when the offer has ended. So any good investor will want to take advantage of that now. And when you are taking advantage of that, it means that you are actually buying in volumes. For instance, if I have a million volume in an existing shares of a bank, I want to increase it to 2 million. It means I'll be looking at what price. There should be a discount, so to say. For instance, the one that had come to the market, we had of a price of 925, 975. The right issue is 925 naira, 9 naira 25 kobo. Let me be specific. And then the public offer is 9 naira 75 kobo. So, and the current price at that time when they came was 10 naira. So now they already gave a discount. So if I want to go in, I'll be going in either as an existing shareholder or a fresh shareholder. So if I'm an existing shareholder, it means I could buy more at 925. That's my right, taking up my rights. If I'm a new shareholder, I'll be buying it at 975 kobo. So it's better for me. And when I buy it in that regard, by the time the offer has ended, I can sell maybe even at 10 naira. I have still made some money. But if I want to keep it to say, oh, I'm going to keep it for dividend or bonus purposes, it's left for me.
Okay. Well done for that. Yes, we understand what you have said, and that's very good advice to investors that want to invest in shares this period. Okay, so now let's talk about the top gainers and the top decliners this week. So we have top gainers. We have Ondo, we have Corn Oil, we have Jais Bank, and Veritas Capital. So these are our top gainers this week, and as you can see, top companies like Oando, they gained 9.6% to close at 15 naira 50 kobo per share, which is quite good. And Cornell also gained as 9.26% to close at 115 naira, which is also very good. I'm sure all the shareholders of these companies are smiling because of their dividends right now. But looking at the trend, we also noticed that Dow Communications has been amongst the top decliners from last week till this week. So is there any possibility that these companies like Dow Communications for our top decliners and MTN, UPL, which is quite surprising that MTN is among the top decliners, is there any possibility that this trend can be reversed in
Well, it's possible the trend can be reversed. If you look at, let me just pick some of those companies you have mentioned. For the oil company, we all know that there is some issues around the oil company as we speak. And so those issues are information that are very key to any investors who may want to take advantage, either positively or negatively. That is to the oil sector. And for the other companies that had a decline, for MTN, it's not because they are not performing. It's because it's possible that some investors are selling. And because it's a large volume, those who are buying at a premium. For instance, if we have almost 20 million units on floor at the time of transaction, and somebody wants to buy, say, maybe 21, 22, 23 million units, such person can lower the price, meaning that you want to sell at a certain price and you want to dispose of those 20 million, but I'm ready to buy the 20 million at a premium. So it's a willing buyer, willing seller. So it can go down for that reason. And for that communication, let me say, it's been a tough issue for them. The reason being that since the listing of that communication, I doubt if we've had any information as per the performance of the company. And a company that does not have information to the shareholders, definitely the price will go down. Authoritatively, I know, if not because there's a peg on the price at the point, the price went down to as low as 20 kobo. So that tells you that they don't provide any information. And so why would anybody want to price it high? So it's neither here nor there for any company. The important thing is If you have information, get it exposed to the market, either positive or negative. Let the market decide your fate in terms of pricing. But the market will only decide your fate if they have information, whether it's positive or negative. But the good thing about our market, or any market for that matter, is that once there is an information, that information is not going to be something that will be there permanently. It's an information that is prone to fluctuation, either positive or negative. So people can take advantage of it at any point in time. So that's what is happening in the market.
Okay, so before we round up this session, I just want to ask you one more question now. Now, looking at the trend this week, this mixed reaction of positive on Monday, negative on Tuesday, and the same thing with Wednesday and Thursday yesterday. Now, do you think today, Friday, the markets will close on a positive or negative note?
Well, even a broker cannot tell you that the market will close positive or negative. The reason being that every day, fresh information comes to the market, and those information are what determine the prices of stocks in the market. So, let me say, just sarcastically, that it's likely that the market will go up because it's a Friday, coupled with the fact that that's the last trading day, and also the fact that some investors are willing to take position right now. But in the event that the market goes down, what may have make that the market to go down must be as a result of the the supply chain. And of course, when people are ready to take up, they are taking it up at a particular price. So let's not close our mind to whether the market will be up or down.
Yes, we know Nigeria and China have been trading with each other for a while now, and this trading has led to a lot of developments in Nigeria. A lot of China has also supported our infrastructure. So now, what are the key drivers behind the growth in trade between Nigeria and China? How can we sustain this momentum?
Let me know. I don't want to agree that there is a trade relationship improvement between Nigeria and China. The reason being that for any bilateral trade, what you should be seeing should be dependence. If you are doing something with somebody and you cannot on your own stand after the person must have left, I don't think that is beneficiary. What should have been that we on our own can stand in the production which we probably had gained from them. But that is not happening. Or maybe they are not visible. So what I think our government needed to have done in any relationship you are signing with anybody, any memorandum of understanding, should be well spelled out as to the benefits.
It's all right. Yes.
As to the benefits of such thing. So without which it may affect either the host country or the other country. In our own case now, it's affecting us. Why? Because it is the Chinese that is benefiting more. The reason being that you could see them all over the places, getting government contracts here and there. And whether we are benefiting from the contract they are getting is something that we need to kind of look holistically. For instance, in terms of infrastructure, they may be a country that has been helping in terms of road network and what have you, but give or take, they collect their pay for that services. Now, if they have done that over a period of years, and we on our own cannot say, after they had gone, we can build such roads on our own without their inputs, then we are not benefiting. It means we must, on regular basis, call them in to come and help us out. And even after helping us out, they are getting paid for the services they are rendering. So we need to look at all that. You recall that during Emefiele's first term in office, Godwin Emefiele, as the CBN governor, we had a currency swaps. That is to say that the amount of naira to yen, to the Chinese yen, has some kind of differences. Let's say, I'm not quoting the figures now, I'm just giving instance. A yen may be equivalent of 1 yen, may be equivalent of maybe 1,000 naira. Now, why do we do that swap when majority of the imports that we bring in from China is still dollarized? Why not we use the same yen? In as much as where we are getting those imports, those goods are from China, we don't need to do an exchange of dollar to naira. What we should have done is, okay, I have the naira and we could swap with the yen. I take my naira there, we already know what equivalent that will be. And so it's a seamless transaction. But in a situation where I have to do my exchange with dollar, and I get the dollar, and I will now still go to exchange it in yen, it's not the best way of trading. So they are more beneficiary to whatever bilateral relationship we have or anything than Nigeria. So we need to go back. Nigeria needs to go back to the memorandum of understanding that was signed and check whether it will still benefit us or not. If it's not going to, if we see that it's not benefiting us, then let us rewrite it. Let us re-agree that you give us this, we take this, or you help our people to build this and impact that knowledge into them, and then we'll move on.
All right, thank you. Now, with regards to our relationship with China trade-wise, there's also been a lingering issue of, an unequal volume, trade imbalance, as you were. We've been largely dependent on imports as opposed to exporting. In 2020, I reckon it was $4.4 billion, skewed in their favor. And then, you see that this has lingered for so long. They are heavyweight manufacturers. We are mostly exporting crude oil and natural gas. So the issue of diversification has crept in at several times in different fora. How do we leverage on this? Or what's your take generally?
Like I said, diversifying into some other area of economic development, we need to be conscious about what we are diversifying into, number one, and what is our expertise in that area, number two. Number three is, what do we stand to gain when we diversify? For instance, I just want to believe, I just say it, that we are mostly import dependent, and that is not good for any economy. You must balance it. That is maybe 60-40 or 50-50 in terms of both import and export. It is when we can, on our own, produce what can be consumed outside our shore, then we can say, we also can stand and say, this is what we have. And we can kind of rate it, look at it, weigh what we are bringing on the table. But in a situation where what we are bringing on the table is lower to what the other party is bringing on the table, they definitely will be determining everything about our economy. And that is what is happening right now. China is determining our economy. We cannot run away from that. Despite the fact that there are other European countries that, yes, what they are bringing in is high in terms of foreign investment and what have you. But if you look at it, China is more present in Nigeria than any other country.
Absolutely.
And so what they are gaining from us, they won't run away. They will continue to stay because they are making more from our economy. Couple the fact that we have the population, which is what they are looking at as an advantage. And any economy where there is a population, look at India, look at China, look at which other country now?
The USA, Russia.
Russia. Everywhere where the population is high, the economy is on the increase. Why? Because for everything you are producing, there is availability of purchase at every point in time. Our economy has become an economy of SOUQ economy. What do I mean by SOUQ economy? If you look at everything that we are consuming these days, it's either is produced in small quantity for sale because the purchasing power is not there.
Absolutely.
So everything now is dropping, and that's why we have inflation going, skyrocketing. For instance, you produce, in the past we were producing cocoa. We were the large producer.
If I may
Yeah.
pause your thoughts there, Mr. Kehinde. Now, piggybacking off of what you are about to say with our production in the agricultural sector.
Yeah.
Earlier, you had said that if we're going to diversify, we should do what we know how to do. No?
Exactly.
And in the past, I reckon that was a mainstay as far as our exports were concerned. Yeah. But, I reckon in recent years, a lot of extenuating circumstances has stymied the forward progression, if you like, of agricultural exports and produce and, thereabout. Yeah. How do we sort this out? How do we fix this?
Government needs to sit down and talk with stakeholders. For agricultural purposes, the first thing that must be provided is security. Once our farmers are secured, we are good to go. There's no way I can have a farm land and my life is not secured and I want to go to that farm. The first thing to me as a farmer is, by the time I go to produce what I want to produce, am I sure I will bring it out alive to be able to sell and make something? If I'm not sure of that, why then do I have to go? So I stay back. And that is what we have seen in Nigeria's space today. All our farmers are coming to the city, whereas they were supposed to, by their natural way, they were used to being in the farm, to farm. But because of insecurity, all of them they are now coming into the city. And the city is becoming more populated without any productive venture. So it's going to affect us, and it's already affecting us. If you check a percentage of some region now, you see them more in the city. Whereas in the past, they are used to being in the farm. Now they are in the city, either doing a menial job, security job and what have you, just to earn a living, and they are sure their life is secured. As against the farm where they can produce, they feed their family. Apart from feeding their family, they still make some financial gain, and their life was secured at that time. But now, that is no longer there. So come into the city. So you cannot blame them.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. And okay, now looking at this trend, the fact that the Chinese and Nigerian trade relations is not quite balanced and it favors the Chinese more. So now, how can we ensure that our domestic industries in Nigeria be increased to balance this trade out?
We need to encourage our industry. In some developed countries, when they see the trend, the first thing they do is haven't sat down with the manufacturers, producers, and what have you. They ask what are their needs so that the government can meet up with their needs. For instance, a manufacturing company can say, what we just need is availability of fund. Another one can say, all we need is instruments, machinery to support our business. Another can say policy that will make our product or produce to be acceptable. That is, when we have produced these things, let there be a policy that it must be consumed. All that. And once they have said all that they needed, the government goes back to say, okay, we have looked at this, and we have discovered that actually these are the things you want. Then they go into implementation of those things to encourage them. There are countries that, because the companies that are coming up needed the fund, they cannot have it. What they do is, okay, they will give them a tax-free holiday period. But yes, those places, there are rules, there are laws that are governing those things, and they are strictly adhered to. In Nigeria, if you give a tax holiday to a company, he gets that tax holiday, and the government goes to sit down. No monitoring to be sure that we give you tax holiday. Were you able to use the tax-free period to improve on your production, and at what costs? So that the tax-free you have received, what is the final cost to the final consumer? If government says, hey, this company, hey, we are giving you a tax-free for 5 years, don't pay anything on your production. What that means is that everything you are producing should be within a limit that can be affordable to the populace of that country. But in a situation where, after getting the tax-free, you now go to your production and come back and say, what you used to sell before the tax holiday is 10 naira. Now, during the tax holiday that you have been given, you now increase it to 50 naira. Who's benefiting?
It's the company.
It's the company. So it's not translating into the policy that the government has put in place to assist to improve our economy. So we need a good and regulatory organization, monitoring organization, that can say, once we bring out any policy, we want to monitor it to the last. Recently, CBN said, oh, banks, you must recapitalize. And as they have said they must recapitalize, they have put in place rules guiding it. And they have said they will monitor it to the last day. Now, if they are able to do that, it will be better off. But if along the line they change the goalposts, which means they decided that we know these people can meet up, let us just leave them, and they close their eyes to those things, you will discover that some of them may not meet up the recapitalized expectation fund that is expected, and they will still be operating, and that will affect the system. And once one organization, one bank is affected, they operate within themselves. It will affect others. And once that happens, it will translate into the larger economy. So we need to quickly, as a matter of urgency, to look at how we can improve on our economy. Having improved on it, we must regularly monitor and ensure that as we put any policy in place, we monitor it to a logical conclusion. Otherwise, there is nothing you will do that will not be circumvented by anybody operating in Nigeria. Because look at the tax thing. People have circumvented that and they have gotten away with it. People have said, the tax is too much. Yes. Government needed to have done something. You cannot say you want to increase the tax and you are not putting something in place for people. It's like when you are applying a road, the road you apply every day goes bad. Now, naturally, you are supposed to look for other means. If that other means that you needed to go through is not also available, you'll be forced to pass through that bad road. And that means that you waste more time that can be converted into productive use than.
Okay, now let's go on a tangent a little bit and then circle back just for a bit. Now, the president, through his special envoy on climate action, Ajuri Ngalale, at the recently held Global Energy Transition Congress in Milan, emphasized the importance of steering the global energy transition towards creating a green economy, and of course opportunities therein for Nigerians, and not just Nigerians, Africans at large. Now, given our trade relationship with China and set agreements which are existing, one of which is aimed at jointly exploring cooperation opportunities in the green economy, it's a no-brainer that at its very core, we've made some strides in that regard, including renewable energy and all of that. So in practical terms, can you walk us through how it would trickle down to the average Nigerian, because we know that without a doubt it's going to have huge economic, impacts, as it were. But for the average Nigerian, how do all of these, come together to make their lives, much better?
Well, first, let's look at it. What step is government taking? We've been talking about green economy, green environment, and what have you for some years now. What is the level of achievement? That's number one. And then what is the level of impact this has made on our economy? Nigeria, ordinarily, we have the sun that can generate light for us. Are we taking advantage of it? We have Chinese company bringing into Nigeria solar panel or power source something that can power our lights and generate light for us and everything. We just buy. Do we need to just buy? We were supposed to say, how did you build this? Today in China, they are having bridges that are solar paneled. Are you getting it? How they got to that level? And we say we have a relationship with them. We are not asking. We are not asking them to help us develop that kind of a thing. Yes, if we had asked China to say, okay, all these things that had helped your economy to improve and increase and has make you at least, it may not be number one, but one of the top countries in the world economically, why not we say we want to, even if we are not one of the first five, we should be one of the 10 economic country in the world. That is not happening. So we need to ask them how they have helped us. They have done it in their country so that can translate into our own economy. From what you have said, yes, there's no doubt it will generate more economy to us. Empower our youths and all that. But are we ready for all the things that surrounds it? I remember there was a year my former boss brought in solar panel, and the solar panel was brought from US. That was when we got to know what solar panel energy and what have you were. And before we knew what was happening, it became a natural thing. It became the main source of power. Now, people, you see all sorts of panels all over produced by other countries. Now, they didn't stop at that because they know that is where we are going. We talk about the Gen Zs, we talk about new generation and everything. What is the level of our Gen Zs, the new generation? What are they doing? If our new generation are actually taking advantage of what they see or can do, it will improve our economy. But what they do is to use it detrimentally to the economy. So government need to watch it. And the only way out is when you are doing something as a government, ensure that you don't create room for people to misuse that opportunity. Ensure that the loopholes are blocked. Yes, you cannot block it completely, but try to block those loopholes. And again, you must, while you are encouraging people, encourage them to put it in proper perspective. That is how they can use it to benefit the economy, not an individual thing benefiting individual thing. It should be something that can benefit the whole. You get it? I tell people, when the government says it's doing road, as against when they start giving out money to individual, which one is more?
Yeah,
The better one is when you
when the government
as against individual.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Kehinde Olusola, for joining us this morning
pleasure.
on Market Insight. It's always great having you on the program. And as we discuss Nigeria-China trade relationship and the opportunities that have presented itself here for in terms of our infrastructure development, we have seen a lot of roads being constructed. We've also seen rail lines also being constructed. So there has been some level of infrastructure developments in our country with this trade relations between Nigeria and China. And as Mr. Adeaga has delved further this on how we can improve the relationship to ensure it benefits us here in Nigeria. So thank you so much for your insights into this discussion. We appreciate it. Thank you for your time. And many thanks for watching the program Market Insights this morning. It's always a pleasure to discuss our economic issues on the program. So do leave your comments on our social media pages and share what you would also like us to discuss further on the program. I'm your host, Lavina Emma, signing out with my co-anchor,
David Chiedu. Thank you for watching.